Good morning. Can you hear me? Yes, I can. And let me know that. All right, we got the recording started. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday morning. Recalling the day and the date is a challenge at 48 years old, it seems. So I had to think about that. But happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to today's masterclass on the psychology of sales. We're going to be getting into our slide deck in just a moment. I'd like each and every one of you to go into the chat. Let me know the industry that you are in, and I'd like for you to enter one word that describes the best version of yourself. One word. Oh, happy birthday, Tahira. 44 today. God bless you. Happy birthday. All right. So, as I said, each and every one of you are invited to go into the chat and enter in the industry that you are in and one word that describes the best version of yourself. All right. Tahira says education disruptor. I like that. So you're in the field of education, and that one word for you is disruptor. Love it. Holly, mental health. Whoop, whoop. And the one word that describes the best version of you is leader. Got it. Keep them coming, ladies. I got you, Sade. We're waiting. The industry that you are in, and one word that describes the best version of yourself. Cherise says, hi, I am Cherise. I am a nonprofit consultant and coach. My one word is insightful. Love it. So we have insightful, leader, disruptor, all in one room. Any others? Nonprofit consultant. Oh, Cherise, we need to talk. Sade says coaching consultant, and your one word is unique. So we have unique, we have insightful, leader, disruptor. I absolutely love it. Sometimes we got to remind ourselves of who we are, even the version that we desire to become are who we are right now because we radiate that. It's on the inside of us. We learn skill sets, we get the healing that we need, right? And we radiate what's already on the inside of us. I see that. Jennifer Enders is joining us. And so, good morning, good morning. While we have that clarity of who we are, who we want to be, and the understanding that that version of you is in you right now, we are going to be talking about the psychology of sales. The reason why this is so important is because each and every one of us, we set out to take dominion in our industries, and how we go about creating and establishing our marketing strategies is going to be key. And so there is, like I said, think about it this way. If you are a person that handles equipment, you should master everything that needs to be known about that piece of equipment, right? Does everybody get that? So if you are a mechanic, the expectation is that you know everything about vehicles. And when it comes to having interactions with other human beings, there is a responsibility that we have to enhance our emotional intelligence so that we understand why humans respond, react, behave, choose, feel, and think the way that they do. And when we have mastered that, then we are able to really leverage what it is we are doing in our industries. And so there's a secret sauce to sales. There's a secret sauce to marketing. There's a secret sauce to connecting to human beings. There's a secret sauce to getting their trust to be maximized. There's a secret sauce to human connection. And so I absolutely love what I do because I get to teach that secret sauce. And today we are going to be talking about that. I'd like for you to assess yourself right now. And I'd like for you to tell me low, medium, or high, low, medium, or high, what you believe your emotional intelligence is, specifically as it relates to sales. I'd like you to rate yourself. So again, you are rating your emotional intelligence as it relates to sales, low, medium, or high, and you can go into the chat. All right. So Tahira says medium to high. Sharice says low. CEO Chicks says high. I'm assuming that's Brand Master herself. Holly says medium. And Sade says low. Okay. So what I'd like you to do now is let's go ahead and set our expectations. That way, if there's anything that you desire to know that we do not go over during this presentation, I want to make sure that we're able to hit on that. If there's any expected takeaways that you have, any expected takeaways from today's training, go ahead and put it in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and get the slide deck shared. I will go over those expectations at the end. In just a few moments, you'll be seeing my screen. And while I get us set up with the slide deck again, just go into the chat and quickly share your one expected takeaway from today's masterclass. All right, if I am all set, as I think I am, you should be seeing my screen. Continue to go into the chat, one expected takeaway. And if you don't have an expected takeaway, that is fine too. I want to make sure that if there's any questions or any specific details that may not be shared in the slide deck, I want to be able to address that. So go ahead, let's go ahead and get started. We're at about 7:43. We had a little bit of a late start, so we're going to go ahead and try to get some of our time back. We, again, are talking about the psychology behind sales. And understand, just like what I said a little bit earlier, I was trying not to get into my soapbox about understanding the responsibility that we have to understand psychology, human psychology, emotional intelligence. And when we are talking about emotional intelligence, we are talking about a person's level of awareness as it relates to human emotions, specifically why we think the way that we think, why we feel the way that we feel, why we choose the way that we choose. This is understanding how to take our anger from a 10 to a 7, how to take our anxiety from a 7 to a 4, how to not press send on that email. Come on, somebody. That is what we're talking about when we're talking about emotional intelligence, and really understanding how humans operate is something that will help us leverage and become successful and maintain success in our particular industries. For those of you who do not know me, and I think I know everybody here, my name is Shelly Fan, and I am a licensed psychotherapist, CEO, and owner of Ask Shelly Consulting. I have the privilege of working with individuals and helping them to overcome emotional injury. I get to work with exclusively dating partnerships and married couples and helping them to overcome their intimacy and attachment challenges. I get to work with corporations as an emotional intelligence expert, providing the psychoeducation to peak performance. And so basically, in that vein, I use corporate training as the avenue to help teams in reaching peak performance. I have been a member of this amazing movement for what feels like about 125 years, and I get to serve as the wellness coach, again, providing the support of psychoeducation that the women that are part of this movement need to truly take dominion in your industries. Understand as we go into our masterclass for today, we have to understand that spending money is emotional. Spending money is emotional. I'd like for you to put that in the chat. Spending money is emotional. Even when we believe we are using logic, it is very emotional. I'd also like to share this psychological fact. We have a conscious and a subconscious. We have a conscious and a subconscious mind, subconscious brain and conscious brain. Our subconscious brain is responsible for about 80% of how we move in this world. So the choices that we make, the way that we behave, the way that we view the world, about 80% of that is driven by our subconscious mind. That means a lot of what we are doing day to day, only 10 to 12% of our conscious mind is responsible for that. The reason why that's important for us to know is because when we are working with human beings, we have to understand how the subconscious mind works. And so when people will say to me things like, well, that doesn't necessarily apply to me. It doesn't apply to me. I did an 8-hour conflict management boot camp yesterday. I'm actually here in Denver right now. And not a lot, but from time to time, I would hear from these men in the oil and gas industry that that's not really how men handle conflict. Right. And I had to help them to understand that human psychology is human psychology. I can bet my bottom dollar that in the past 5 minutes, and possibly, not even possibly, for sure, within the next minute, that all of us would have blinked several times. Right. It is the way that we are wired. It is instinctual. And so what we are going to be talking about today is that the way that the mind, the human mind operates so that we can understand how to shape and establish our businesses, how we shape and establish how our outreach looks like, and our attempt to connect with our clients. Having said that, the main goal for today is to assure that each and every one of you learn the main principles of the psychology of sales. And from time to time, I'm going to ask you to unmute. We'll try to make this as interactive as possible. And so I'm going to ask you, tell me about how well you think you're doing on this. What is it that you think you need to change? Because for us to hear all of this information and not plan accordingly is deferred success. Doing better it depends on knowing better and making sure that you take that personal responsibility. So let me go back. Doing better, we do better because we know better. We do better because we know better. And we take the personal responsibility to know better because we deserve better. Let me say that again. We do better because we know better. We take the personal responsibility to know better because we deserve better. Knowing is doing something differently and more effectively, consistently over time. So sometimes we'll say, well, I know this, I heard this before. But if you are not, evidence of knowing is doing consistently over time. The evidence of knowing is doing consistently over time. And so I'm going to open conversation and dialogue to make sure that we are putting very specific steps in place to ensure that we are addressing any type of growth opportunity that we find in this presentation today. There are many different domains of sales psychology. I'm going to focus on 5 today, just 5. And the first one starts with mindset. Mindset. This is very important because our thoughts charge our emotions, and our emotions influence how we choose. Our thoughts charge, just like a regular phone charger, our thoughts charge our emotions, and our emotions influence how we choose. So if we want to change the way that we choose, we have to modify our thoughts. If we want to change the way that we feel, we have to modify our thoughts. When we are talking about mindset, we are talking about the quality of your thoughts. The quality of your thoughts. Now, most of the time when we hear the word mindset, it is followed by different types of mindset, such as growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, an open mind versus a closed mind, a prosperity mindset versus a lack conscious mindset. Today, what I want to focus on is that mindset exposes the quality of your thoughts. Think about this. Once upon a time, I'm 48, y'all. Once upon a time, I don't know if it's still on, but there was like a commercial. And in this commercial, they would take a paper towel and they would wet the paper towel, and then they would put like a dozen of eggs on the paper towel. Give me a thumbs up if you understand or remember that commercial that used to be on TV. And basically what they were trying to evidence is that this paper towel is amazing if it can still hold these dozens of eggs even while it is wet, because usually, not usually, a wet paper towel is at its most vulnerable point. So if it can handle holding 2 to 3 dozen of eggs, that's a very powerful paper towel. Your thoughts, your mindset exposes the quality of your thoughts. Some of us, our thoughts cannot carry or handle the calling on our life. The quality of your thoughts basically exposes whether or not the thoughts that you entertain, can it handle the calling, the responsibility, the assignment that's on every skill, ability, and unique talent that you have. And some of us, truth be told, our thoughts have not reached that quality level yet. And so we doubt ourselves. We doubt our worth. We engage in imposter syndrome. We don't want to go live. We don't think that we have the skill set to get on a panel where you are not pre-sent the questions that are going to be asked. Mindset, the quality of your thoughts. I like to see it as grade. There are certain places that you will not catch me trying to buy meat in. I just won't. There are other places that I understand if I want some quality meat, I want that good goat, I want that good oxtail, I know where to go. Some of us have low grade meat as mindset. I'd like for you to unmute and be honest and open about what you believe the quality of your thoughts land right now. And I'm talking about your thoughts about your capacity, your thoughts about your attractability, your thoughts about your future success and what that looks like. You can unmute and share what you believe your quality of thinking is right now.
Um, I think my quality of thinking doesn't necessarily match up. So I guess it would be either low grade or in between low grade and mid grade because I know that, my God is omnipotent and he's already, the creator, the ruler of all things, and I can reach anything that, God has for me. But it's been a challenge because my mind hasn't caught up with that really. So it's like I tell myself that, but it hasn't fully believed it yet.
And how often are you telling yourself that?
Um, I mean, I guess it's not like it's not in my subconscious yet. I do have to consciously remember it when I'm in the middle of something and I'm like, wait a second. No, don't react. God's got me. Like, how do I go around this or go through this?
Got it. Repetition is key. Repetition is key. Sometimes we got to practice where we want to go. And so affirmations is very powerful. And the beautiful thing about affirmations is that you don't have to believe it. It's not necessary. Your belief in what you're saying is not required. What's required is your consistency in saying it out loud and doing that with consistency daily. Some of us, our mindsets require a higher level of frequency in stating those affirmations. Think about it like Tylenol. I can't take just one Tylenol, never could. I have a high resistance to pain medication. So if I have a headache, let me see, that was loose. If I have a headache loose, I have to take 2 or 3 Tylenols just to get some type of relief. Some of us, the quality of our thoughts are so low that our affirmations and stating them and out loud has to be 2 to 3 times a day. 1 time a day is not enough, but we have to do it 2 or 3 times a day. We have to be honest with ourselves and not allow ourselves to just have a self-awareness level of a brick, but that to be aware enough and honest enough with ourselves to understand where we land. And so again, some of us stating our affirmations in the morning 1 time a day may be enough. For others, it may be 3 times a day. That is when you go into your phone and you put it in your calendar all the times that you are going to stop in your day, take a walk, and state your affirmations. Your affirmations creates a neurological roadmap that basically programs your brain and tells your brain exactly what you need it to do. That's why it's so powerful. Neuroscientists say that the morning time when we wake up, between the first 20 to 30 minutes from the time that we wake up in the morning, our brains are the most gullible. They are the most impressionable. That means they're like clay. First thing in the morning, first 20 to 30 minutes, that is the ideal time to create that neurological roadmap and engage in your affirmations. Mindset exposes the quality of your thoughts. Are your thoughts quality enough to carry like that wet paper towel? That's your thought life. Is the quality of your thoughts strong enough, high enough to carry the powerful calling on your life, the assignment that every skill, ability, and talent has? And so if you are finding that your thought life is of low quality, that low grade, stinky brown, not even close to red or fresh meat, you have to be engaging in affirmations multiple times a day, every single day, without fail, creating that neurological roadmap and a shift in how you view yourself. The next thing is influence and inspiration. For those of you who are logging in, welcome. We are talking about the psychology of sales, influence and inspiration. We all have influence. Some of us a little bit more than others, but I want you to understand it from more of a psychological perspective. Influence is our capacity to guide someone in how they choose. Think about it like a push or like a guide. Influence does that. It guides people, it pushes people. We may have influence enough to get people to buy tickets to come to our event. The question is then, with influence, will they change after the event? Influence does not determine if change happens. Inspiration is what determines if change is going to happen. So when we are talking about the psychology of sales, we have to see it as a 2-in-1 package. We have to work on leveraging our influence and our inspiration. Having said that, let's look at the two. Influential is your effect on others. It's the power to change the way people think and or behave. Now understand that influence could be intentional or it could be unintentional. I remember coaching a woman who had a very large female following. And she had significant emotional injury in the area of relationships. Unintentionally, because of her own resentment for men and the unresolved emotional injury that she carried, there was an inadvertent reinforcement that was happening in the other women, where they started to feel that same resentment toward men. Was it intentional? It was not. It was very unintentional, but the influence still happened. And so influence can be intentional or it could be unintentional. It could be positive or it could be negative. So that means that there's an aspect of influence that may fall outside of your window of control, especially if you are not aware. Inspirational is lighting a motivational fire under a person or a people in a way that affects change and transformation. We're talking about filling a person or a people with a sense of possibility. It uplifts and empowers people to pursue their goals. We have a responsibility to influence and inspire. And there is a psychology behind how we inspire human beings. Humans are inspired by these bullets here. They are inspired by authenticity. So if your emotional injury, your thought life, the way that you view yourself, your emotions, those that you have not yet mastered regulation of, interferes in giving yourself the freedom to be your authentic self, that is going to be an issue. It's going to be very, very hard for you to have success in selling your product or your service or strengthening your brand or just showing up as someone that can be trusted in the eyes of those that you are trying to connect with if you are not authentic. Some of us have a hard time with honest transparency. That means that, and the key word here is honest transparency. There may be things that we feel more comfortable being transparent about, but that is not full and honest transparency. And truth be told, going live forces you to be that honest, transparent, authentic version of yourself. There needs to be alignment for people to feel inspired. So the things that you are saying you do, the things that you represent, your morals, your values, whatever you're saying you are in the public eye, there has to be true alignment with that. Because what will happen is you may get the following, but people won't change. And your sales will plummet. And you will experience deferred success in what you're trying to do. There has to be alignment for humans to truly be inspired, transformed, motivated to continue to buy and to continue to support and to continue to show up, to continue to invest, to continue to believe. Humans are inspired by accountability. And sometimes we try to withhold that because we don't want to correct people or we lack assertiveness. But this is a human need, and people are inspired by accountability. They are inspired by consistency, something that's a growth opportunity for me as well, specifically as it relates to social media. People are inspired by that consistency. They are inspired by that optimism. And I'm going to tell you why they are inspired by that optimism. There's something called positive asymmetry. Positive asymmetry basically exposes that the human brain is wired to focus more on the negative side of things. It's called positive asymmetry. So that means that by nature, if we are not doing something purposely to modify our thinking, it's going to defer to the negative, positive asymmetry. And so it is refreshing. It is refreshing to hear a positive message. It is refreshing to be exposed to optimism and hope and laughter, the things that that we're not always exposed to every day. And so optimism is very inspiring to human beings. People are inspired by those that they like, know, and trust. So what is it that you are doing to ensure that your targeted audience know you, like you, and trust you? Humans are inspired by care. Care is defined as knowing, understanding, and being responsive to the needs of your clients, and to prioritize those needs over time, consistently. That's the definition of care. I'm going to repeat that. That's knowing, understanding, and being responsive. Your life, God. Sorry about that. Care is defined as knowing, understanding, and being responsive to the needs of your clients and prioritizing it consistently over time. Humans are inspired by connection. Humans are inspired by new information. We love the beautiful pictures that you post. It's amazing. Give us some new information. Humans are inspired by learning. Even those that say, I've already learned all I need to learn. It's a human need. Humans are inspired by practical prescriptions. Give me the 3 keys. Give me the 5 keys. Give me the 7 keys. Package that thing in a way that I can practically do it at home or practically use it at home. Whatever that is, humans are inspired by results, and humans are inspired by your growth and your accomplishments. What's your growth opportunity here? You can go ahead and put it in the chat. It may be authenticity that you struggle with. And that is why you don't want to go live, or you don't feel like you have enough fluency in your industry to be able to do that. Whatever that is, humans are inspired by authenticity, transparency, alignment within yourself and what it is you say you are. They are inspired by accountability. Have you ever read a text or a post or something of that nature that made you feel like you just got kicked right in your gut, like, ooh, that was for me? We need accountability. How are you serving your people this? Humans are inspired by consistency, optimism, because of this positive asymmetry that we have in our brains. We are wired to tailor to the negative. People are inspired by those that they like, know, and trust. They are inspired by care and connection, new information, practical prescriptions that works and generates results. And they are inspired by your growth and accomplishments. What's your growth opportunity here? I'm going into the chat now. Ooh, boy. Colleen says, fruit never lies. Fruit never lies. You can go ahead. I'd like to hear what your growth opportunity is here. You can go ahead and put it in the chat. So far, we talked about mindset. Your mindset has so much to do with your success in sales. We're talking about influence and inspiration. Highlight your growth opportunities. We're going to go ahead and continue here. Going live gives us an opportunity to show people in real time who we are and what we know. And it is a very, very powerful way to elevate how you are connecting with your ideal client. How many of you have low comfortability with going live? You can unmute your lines and share why. Oh, I love this. Alexis says, I need to speak more affirmations. You may be the one that may need 2 or 3 doses a day. I have some sample affirmations that I send to my clients. I would be happy to send that to you, Alexis, or anyone that needs it. Actually going, let me see, let me go back up. All right, so need to speak more affirmations. Holly says, increase practical prescriptions for clients on social media. I love it, Holly. People need that 2-step, 3-step, 5 keys, right? Practical. And a lot of even in psychology, in our field, Holly, it can be extremely practical. Lady Gandhi says, actually going live. We got to ask ourselves, remember, thoughts charge our emotions and emotions influence how we choose. So what's the thought or the thoughts, Lady Gandhi, that keeps you from going live? Because you have to catch those thoughts, right? God knew exactly how we were wired, because the word doesn't say to take captive your emotions. It says take captive every thought. So we have to isolate the thought. Half the time we don't even know, we're not thinking about what we're thinking about. What are you thinking about? What's the thought? My teeth ain't right, my hair ain't right, I don't talk right. Whatever that is, you are more than enough right where you are. We all have a targeted audience. We have people that are going to be drawn to us with, now I'm not saying to not try to improve grammar, but let me tell you something. Those who are for you are going to follow you and connect with you right where you are. Lou says, growth opportunity, consistency in my systems. I love it. Brittany says, show my audience something new, share my current journey. I love that. I'm still looking. Every time a comment comes in, it takes me to the bottom. I'm trying to get to the top. Show my, okay, I read that. Hope, Tahira says, I shrink when I get a no, or when a partnership is no longer fits. I tend to internalize it way too much and it's counterproductive for me. So we need some thought reframing there. It's Alkia, LOL. My grandbaby was on my Zoom list. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. I see what you're saying. Let's see. Growth opportunity to just show up when I have imposter syndrome. Your audience likes to watch you grow. Exactly. So just do it right where you are. I love all of this. It is important for you to be very clear about what you are thinking. And then you have to reframe that thought. If I told each and every one of you to wiggle your right front tooth for 30 minutes a day for the next 90 days, I'm going to tell you what would happen. We would be on this live looking crazy because none of us would have a tooth in the front. Eventually, it would uproot. We have the power to do that with our thoughts. We have to question our thoughts. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? What if I can? What if the time is now? Our thoughts are influenced by lies we tell ourselves. I'll do it tomorrow. You won't. You never do. And so reframing our thoughts by jumping the thought. Has anyone ever got jumped before? When you get jumped, that means that you're getting beat up by more than one person. We got to jump the thought, right? And so for every thought, I am not good enough right now. What are 3 reframes to that one thought? And you literally write it down and you state those reframes. What happens is this was not in my notes and I need to move on, but I'm going to say this right now. When you reframe your thought and attach 3 positives to every unproductive thought, that original negative thought cannot show up alone anymore. When that thought shows up, it's going to come with its 3 homies. The 3 thoughts that you attach to that negative thought. Thought reframing works. And when you can take control of your thoughts, you can take control of your destiny because thoughts become things. Moving on. The fear of missing out. We talked about mindset. We talked about being influential and inspirational. We're maximizing sales here. We're talking about the psychology of sales. Fear is something that we can use to leverage our sales. Specifically, the fear of missing out. We hear it all the time. FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. Do you guys understand how powerful this is? So how does that translate to what we have to do as entrepreneurs? We have to create some time sensitivity to what we are selling, to what we are offering, that product, that service, right? What's an example of time sensitivity? What is that? What is an example of that? You can unmute.
I have this sale going for the next 72 hours. If you don't get it now, then I probably won't put it back out there.
There you go. Time sensitivity. Even when you know you could sell it for all 365 days in the year. Time sensitivity. Fear of missing out is when you feel like I can't get in, right? There's distance, there's scarcity. So members only is another way that it increases their desire, it increases motivation. And what we're talking about, the psychology of sales is basically how we increase motivation. How do we ignite and impact the emotions of a human being so that they can connect, spend money, behave the way we need them to behave to leverage our businesses? I know that sounds bad. I'm not talking about manipulation. I'm talking about being emotionally intelligent. There's a difference. Members only. A select few will be invited to, right? Sold out. These are all examples of using scarcity to motivate spending. And scarcity is when there is a supply of a resource that cannot meet demand. I'm going to tell you what happens psychologically when we use the fear of missing out or scarcity as part of our marketing. It literally provokes a primal response. Let me explain what a primal response is. It is an instinctual physical and emotional response that happens in and through human beings when the brain perceives a threat. It's also an example of a primal response is the survival response to trauma, fight, flight, freeze. Our brains literally go into this primal response when we are exposed to something that is presented as scarce. So when we use the fear of missing out, sold out, 2 days left, 3 hours, it motivates people's spending. It literally triggers psychological urgency. It literally triggers a sense of urgency. And so it's important for us to understand how we can use that in our sales strategy. We talked about mindset, influence, and inspiration. We talked about how human beings are inspired. We talked about how we can use fear, specifically the fear of missing out, to motivate sales. Fourth is social proof. Social proof. Let's break down what that means. Social proof is how you build customer confidence. How are you, Denise, Tia, Tahira, Natalie, Alexis, Sade, Ariel, Holly, Brittany, iPhone, Sharice, Alana, Diego, Crystal, I can go, Alette. How are you being intentional about building customer confidence? We build customer confidence by ensuring that we are fostering and strengthening trust. And we do that by being intentional about building an amazing reputation. So social proof is about increasing customer confidence, and we increase customer confidence by having strategies to build trust and reputation. A lot of the times, the trust building is in alignment with the things that inspire humans. They also simultaneously build trust. So examples of social proof building include testimonials. Where can we find what customers have said about you? I personally believe that we should keep it authentic as women of God, because you can create fake testimonials, pay for them. If you are doing an amazing job and you are killing it, and you are doing what you need to do as a CEO chick, you are not only learning skills, but you are also applying skills consistently. Let me say what I said before. We do better because we know better, and we take the personal responsibility to know better because we deserve better. If you are applying the skill sets that you're learning and you're doing consistently, and you are investing in yourself and investing in your growth, then you shouldn't have to fake your testimonials. You shouldn't have to buy your testimonials. Where are your testimonials kept? Where can customers see that? When we're talking about social proof building, we're talking about client referrals. Social proof building is attached to words that we use: most popular, best-selling. These are words that cause people to feel that other human beings are connecting to this person, this product, this service. Social proof building One of the ways to do that is through status, your connection with other people that may be in the field, doctors, those who have titles that we view as high status. This is where getting a brand ambassador, someone who's already out there, bringing them to an alignment with your brand, right? Bringing them on to align with your brand, causing someone of status to become an evangelist for your brand. These are all examples of social proof building, ratings and reviews. Where can we see that? Where are you posting that? Followers is an example of social proof building, consistency with posting, perception of value addition. And this is key as well. What value are you bringing to people? And how are we showing that to the world? We have a responsibility to bring value to people. And so you may have posts that are informational. You may have posts that are more marketing and letting people know about an event, etc. We have to make sure that there's a good balance, that your posts are not only about your next event or what you're selling, but it's also bringing value to your followers and those who are reading. Certifications and education is another example of social proof building. So I'd like for you to go into the chat and just share a couple of thoughts about what you do to build your social proof. I will also invite someone who believes that they have mastered this to share how they do it. Super quick, just unmute. Unmute your line and share what you do for social proofing. I'm sure there's got to be one person. Oh, I hear.
So after all of my clients, I generally, after the service, I send them over a review link and tell them to share their experience.
Can you introduce yourself real quick so we know who you are, what you do?
Oh, hey, it's Alkia. And I am a hairstylist and so many others, but that's the particular business. For Classic Beauty, all of my clients, I send them a review link.
And that review link is it Google? What's the platform?
Yeah, it's Google. Yep, it's a Google link. And that's predominant. And it works really well for me because I would say about 80% of my clientele comes from Google.
Which is the #1 search platform right now.
Yep. It works for me. I mean, I'm killing it in Google.
I have had people literally ask me, what does your Google resume look like? Google resume has all of your, basically it's what comes up when we Google your name, right? What comes up when we Google your name, not only reviews, but YouTube videos, published articles, things of that nature. And those are things that you can invest in. And I know this is, actually it is not off topic. When you are publishing articles in your field of interest, it shows that you are a matter expert in whatever it is you are doing. And I'm not just talking about psychology. If branding is it, then I want to see the articles that are published with you sharing your tips on branding. If you are a hairstylist, your published articles that basically are educating the reader on the best hair care practices or things of that nature. This is how we move from just thriving in our businesses, but to being experts in our businesses. And your Google resume is key. How do you publish articles? How do you get in? First and foremost, you have to make sure that you have the content. And it doesn't require, most of us, we're already doing it. We're already doing it. Holly is already killing it in the field. Alkia is killing it in the field. Lady Gang, we're doing it. So when we start to find the prescriptions in what we are already doing, I could write an article about how to connect with people. I could write an article about the things to avoid or how to recruit your next financial advisor, how and it doesn't take long. The articles are what, 250 to 500 words about, and then you get it on USA Today and CBS articles or internet articles. These are, and what happens when you do that is when people are Googling you and see your Google resume, it creates trust. It builds social proof. It increases the probability that they will pay. They will go to the event. They will go to that conference. They'll buy that coaching package, right? Social proofing, how you are building trust. If you have an interest in how to get your articles out there and how to get them published, let us know. Reach out to this coaching team. We will share the steps on how to do that. The last step that we're going to talk about in essence of time is increasing perception of quality. Quality, the human brain, understanding how it views quality and ensuring that you are incorporating that into your marketing strategy. Some examples of how we can elevate and maximize quality, or how humans view quality, is making sure that you are using high resolution graphics. Your photos, high resolution. Your flyers, high resolution. The things that you are sharing on social media, crisp, bright, clean. When you are doing reels, when you are doing videos, that it is second to none graphic quality, right? So these are, people are very motivated visually. So the visual stimulation is something that's very important. We have a brand beast who is our founder and has amazing support services to create a brand, a very strong and consistent brand. Building your brand becomes a stamp of approval. And I was watching and reading through some resources in preparation for today. And I heard this gentleman talk about, we know when we go to Walgreens that the Walgreens Benadryl is the same as the other like we know, but there's something about it where we won't buy the Walgreens brand. I actually do sometimes, but that's a different story, right? We know that that CVS brand is the same as that Tylenol, but what are we gonna buy? What are we gonna buy? We're gonna buy the Tylenol brand. Brand becomes like a stamp of approval. So when we're talking about branding, we're talking about consistency. We're talking about how you are appealing to your audience, color stimulation. I did a conflict management training yesterday for a corporation here in Denver. I had mentioned that before. And they have a lot of anger issues, a lot. That is why I'm here. And their anger issues sometimes elevate to physical aggression. Their brand color is red. Red is an anger provoking color. Everything is red, all over the offices. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why it's important to truly have some level of emotional intelligence. So even the colors that you use, you understand the message that you are giving to people that you're trying to connect with. Your brand exposes your culture and it causes people to feel and experience. Again, it becomes your stamp of approval and it builds inherent trust. We're talking about quality. What do people view as quality? Visual stimulation is important. That's just how humans are wired. We are stimulated significantly, psychologically as well. We are stimulated significantly, psychologically and physically through visual stimulation. And so we have to use that in the way that we are marketing ourselves, our products, and our services by using highlight videos. So it's important to have some type of visual presentation of what you do. And you may say, well, I don't have a visual presentation. I do trademarking. I'm a lawyer and I do trademarking. So what's a visual presentation of that? It could be someone opening their trademark certificate and they're happy when they see that they got there. We have to make sure that we are creating visual presentations of whatever it is we do or sell. And that visual presentation has to be the forefront of our marketing campaigns. We have to be mindful of the power of highlight videos, reels. I did executive coaching with a restaurant owner. Her sales skyrocketed. I think it was like a ridiculous, like 70% increase in sales when she started to do small reels of her cooking. Before and after photos, even our bagging and packaging, that's visual stimulation, where people see like this, CEO chick took some time to purchase these really cute bags. It makes me even want to buy some more. An office space is visual stimulation. And for some of you who don't have a brick and mortar, and that's not something that's part of your plan, you can elevate your virtual presentation and experience. The other day, I had a conference call with a gentleman who has a graphics company. And as I was waiting, there was this big like graphic thing going, and it said, please enjoy this video while you wait. And there was ocean sounds. I'm like, I need to get that. I'm a therapist. I do a lot of telehealth. I want to find out how he did that. So even though it was a virtual space, it was elevated to a level of excellence that was like no other. We're talking about how do people perceive quality? Free samples. There's something about the distribution of free samples that causes people to feel that whatever you have is of quality. Not only that, it literally activates and triggers something called the law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity is when there's something that's on the inside of us, something on the inside of us that causes us to buy when we got something free. It bypasses logic. The law of reciprocity, it literally bypasses logic. No one could say this is logically why this happens, but there's something about, they say that when at Publix, I don't know where you guys are. Publix is a grocery store. Just think about any grocery store. When they are offering free samples, free food samples, they will always have a significant increase in sales, even when the people are not buying the thing that they free sampled. And so it's like a pull. It's almost like psychologically, I owe them to buy something. And so using that rule, that law of reciprocity to our benefit is key. It's the psychology of sales. When people find that you are providing great effort in what you are doing, it motivates them to spend. It motivates them to connect. It motivates them to do whatever your call to action is. I'm going to give you an example. I'm not here for free. They pay me to fly to Denver. I did an 8-hour boot camp. Over and above that boot camp, I am offering 3 group coaching sessions plus 3 executive one-on-one coaching sessions. I'm going above and beyond to show the effort that I'm putting into making sure that their team members understand the secret sauce to conflict management. We have to be intentional about leveraging and maximizing effort. It may be easier to get little thank you bags, but when you are showing great effort, I had a conference in New York, April 20th. We offered every attendee 3 follow-up wellness coaching calls to ensure that they had a safe space to continue to, it's effort. How are you providing and showing great effort in what you are doing? We're talking about high quality, how humans view quality. Humans view quality through the authority that you display. So when you are live, when you are speaking, when you are on that panel, whatever that is, when you're not doing it with authority, people don't trust, people don't connect, it's doubtful. When we're talking about authority, we are not only talking about confidence, we're talking about capacity and operating in that capacity. I know what I'm talking about, so I present with authority. The words I use, the expression on my face, the posture that I maintain. And let me tell you, CEO Chicks, it was not always like that. And I can sit here and I can lie and I can try to make it seem like I'm selling something to you guys. It is, I'm telling you the bona fide truth. It is through my membership and my connection to this movement, CEO Chicks, that allows me to operate in authority, and people trust that. And as they continue to connect and they continue to see the results, it just continues to multiply. We talked about 5 different aspects of human psychology that is designed to help you understand how you can leverage your marketing endeavors. Addressing the quality of your thoughts, that is your mindset. The importance of using influence and inspiration in connecting with your audience. We talked about using the fear of missing out to your advantage. Talked about social proof and how human beings view quality. I'm going to open the floor for questions, for comments before we close.
Let's turn our cameras on. First of all, let's give it up in the chat. Put hand claps, whatever you got to do for this presentation. Shelly, this was Coach Shelly. This was absolutely phenomenal and amazing. I have a question. How can someone increase their capacity, right? I love all the points that you gave. Shout out to all my believers in business that are here, my Bible study mentees. I love seeing y'all come in. I leaked it. You saw the numbers increase because it was so good. And I wanted them to see what we do behind the paid wall in CEO Chicks. I want women to understand why it's important that you invest in yourself. What is $37 a month? Absolutely nothing. In fact, the price is going up this summer. But it is. I'm going to put information in the chat for you to join, to shoot me a text if you're ready to join, because what is $37? I'm not discounting it. I ain't giving a code. I'm not giving any of that. So thank you, Sharice. Sharice is one of our nonprofit coaches that is a member. But long story short, I want you to think about the question, how does someone increase their capacity, right? You mentioned in your testimony, you weren't always this way. I wasn't always this way. You know, we've done life outside of CEO Chicks together. A lot of my coaches, we have history, right? And I know the fruit that grows on their trees, honey. So, but how has your capacity grown, and what can someone do to increase their capacity?
Coaching did it for me. Healing, because the unresolved emotional injury, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a therapist, that unresolved emotional injury was keeping me bound. I always knew that there was more, but I just couldn't get there. I couldn't get there because I was inundated by internal dialogue that kept me questioning myself. I was overcoming perfectionism. So I created my own personal prison and built walls that confined me. That perfectionism, things have to be perfect before I can get started.
Mm.
Have to be this way before I move forward. I have to feel a certain way before I say yes. It was all stuff that, mindsets and thoughts and emotions that were all stemming from emotional injury. So I had to go through the healing process. But that coaching, I joined this movement at a time where I thought I had it all together and that there was nothing more that I needed to learn, because I had achieved success and I had experienced failure. So I was like, I've been through the whole spectrum, I'm good. But there were things that I didn't know. And there was a time when Colleen said, your breakthrough is on the other side of something you do not know. We increase our capacity by learning. What are you going to give the people that are connected to you? What are you going to give them? I have the responsibility to know everything I need to know about intimacy. I have the responsibility to know everything that I need to know about emotional injury. So because people revere me as an expert, I have to make sure that I'm building myself in that. So I have something to give. I don't need you to send me the questions that you're going to ask on that panel discussion.
Come on, it's in me. Let's do this.
I do this every day.
Questions. I go places and a lot of people just want to flow. I was just on a major panel discussion between doctors. Dr. Love McPherson, hello.
Wow.
Okay, she's on this side.
Wow.
The local doctor from Fox News. I can't remember her name right now because I just met her, sweet as pie. And I'm in the middle looking like, okay, God. Okay, this is what we doing. No questions sent, Jelly.
I don't need them.
Holy Spirit said, I have equipped you to do what you are about to do in this place. They want to talk about marriage, Colleen. You pull from your 24 years of marriage. They want to talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. You doing it? Let's talk about, girl, I'm up there to talk about branding. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to talk about branding. But God said, oh, I'm about to pull from something else. And don't you dare shrink back.
Come on. Come on. How are you motivating yourself? There's an app called Pep Talk. I've become an addict.
I've never heard of it. Okay.
Pep Talk. You can go into that app, whatever topic you think you need to be inspired in that day, you click it. They're really quick, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's all of your motivational speakers. It's faith-based as well. You can choose all the faith-based motivational speakers if you don't want to go the secular route. And how are we fueling ourselves?
That part.
How? Because you have no capacity if you're not. How did you grow from January? I'm different now in May than I was in April. I know more. You know how? Because it's intentional. What books are you reading? Who's your coach? Who holds you accountable? How are you? We got to be early adopters. We got to have our own theories, our own approaches, our own prescriptions. That is how you maximize your capacity.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Did you see any questions in the chat? Anybody want to unmute themselves? Listen, you need to join CEO Chicks. I leak this to my mentees and some of the students from Bible studies and my believers in building. Like I'm still building community. Like it's just who I am. It's what I do. I'm a connector. I'm going to hold you accountable. I want to see you grow. And listen, this summer, I haven't even announced this publicly yet, but this summer, We're closing down some stuff and reconfiguring some things. We're raising the price at CEO Chicks because I know the value we carry. There's so much fruit inside of this network. And I love intimacy, but at the same time, I recognize the level, the fruit. We're birthing 6, 7, and 8-figure earners right here. And it starts from a place that is not seen. It comes from within. Your wealth is going to come from within you, not outside of you.
I love that, Colleen. It is not an attraction, it's a radiation. Attraction is bringing something to you that's on the outside of you. Wealth is not, and joy was not meant to be on the outside of you. It's something that comes from the core of you and radiates and impacts other people. I started to change my language, Colleen, about that, about talking about I want to attract. But you know what made me get to a point where I realized what I really was talking about, that idea was radiation, not necessarily attraction, learning.
That's it. Because what happens when you incubate? Something happens when you're willing to incubate. Something happens when you're willing to shut out some of the noise. Something really does happen, and you tap in to the power God has truly given you, and you tap into being more. He said, I am light. I didn't come to judge nobody. I just came to let my light shine. So I'm increasing the awareness. I'm increasing the power that God has given me. I'm increasing understanding. And what I'm hearing right now, the scripture is that what flows out of us, right? The treasure is in an earthen vessel. It's what comes from within. And that is what ends up attracting. It's when you radiate that, it's the light that radiates from within you. It's the revelation, it's the knowledge, it's the insight, it's the wisdom, it's the things that you've gone through in life and you took L after L, whether it was a loss or a lesson, whatever, you learn from that thing and you're applying it and you're growing, right? That's what life is all about. It's a big school. Life is just a big school, baby. And I don't graduate until I hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. That's it for me. I don't know about anybody else, but that's it for me. And so my wins are not just within my business. It's time out for the marriage is failing and the business is winning. No, that's unacceptable here in CEO Chicks. No, your marriage matters. Your intimacy matters. That's why we is like Shelly talking about intimacy and emotional intelligence. And there's times I'm like, girl, get your boo on here. Make sure your husband hear it, even if it's in the background. Bring it to a public place, honey, where he can hear that thing. While you growing, let him hear it. Hear what you're getting, hear what you're gleaning from, hear what you're learning, right? So it goes beyond the bank account. It comes from within. It's going to radiate. So text me. I put a number in the chat. If that's you, raise your hand, 321-472-5544. If that's you and you're joining CEO Chicks, you're one of my mentees, you're from Believers in Business, you are one of my Bible study folks, listen, 321-472-5544, or raise your hand and I'll look out for you because I need to read the text. Guess what? I have a shoot I need to do. My mentor is coming in from Chicago for a shoot. She asked me, and I need to be there at noon, and it's 11. So I got 30 minutes. I got 30 minutes to watch the important parts. Throw on a little makeup. I see hands going up. Lucy, you're a member already, aren't you? Sandra, welcome. Yes, you need to join. Ariel, I see your hand going up. You need to join. The phone number, text me. I'll send you a link. It ain't gonna be right now because I'm headed to create some content for my from Michelle.
I'm signing my client up, Colleen. I'm signing my client up. She said, oh my God, I got to be a part of this.
Listen, we're getting ready to, I have a major meeting and I don't know, but listen, I don't say things unless, I ain't going to say it prematurely. There's just major things coming for CEO Chicks. And if you know anything about what we foster here, we're ready to pass the baton. Shelly and I, we're amongst other leaders, but there are more of you that we want to raise up to be on platforms with us. You have to know my heart. You have to know her heart. Like our leadership team, the women that are here, it's all about passing batons. It's all about us all winning. And what we want is for you to win at being yourself. Listen, flaws and all. Flaws and all right? So I put the number in there, text CEO to that phone number. I will send you the link. And if you really about your business, you will just go to the website and sign up, child. You know what I'm saying? You'll just go to ceochicksonline.com or courses for all the links are out there. You've been following thank you so much, Sharice. You've been following. So whether you text me, that's the link I'm gonna send you. But guess what? We just learned today. People like intimacy. People like, that. So they prefer to text me. That's a psychology thing. When I could put out a link on social media, hey, join. But when I say text me, what did I just do? You should do the same thing. I just personalized it. Even though I'm still going to see the information, right? But you know why I can stand flat-footed and sell you on that? Because selling is serving. We're gonna deliver every time. Our offer at CEO Chicks is beyond, the value is beyond that price point that we offer right now. So become a member. Thank y'all for trusting me. I'm getting back to Bible study next month. It's gonna be phenomenal. It's gonna be amazing. What time is it? 10:55, 5 minutes. Somebody has something they want to say, go ahead and unmute.
What is an example of 3 reframes of a negative thought to make it a positive thought?
What's the negative thought? So she could be more specific.
There's too much going on. This isn't going to work out, and there's not enough time in the day for me to get it out there.
All right, Shelly, have at it.
So those were several thoughts.
I know.
Those were several thoughts, right? So we have to isolate, there is not enough time. So there's something called lack consciousness. Lack consciousness is when we attend to what we don't have more than what we do. And because of that, we continue to attract more lack. And there are 3 things that we tend to have lack consciousness for: not enough money, not enough space, not enough time. Just putting that out there. Stop saying there's not enough. So for you, it would be, I have sufficient time to do the things that I need to do. I am fully capable of managing myself within the time frames that are available to me. That's an example of changing that. I have the discipline required to do all that I need to do on this day, during this hour. I can get this done now. It will get done now. That is an example of a reframe. Also, you can reframe however you desire, but keep in mind that we don't want to use reframes in the negative. I don't, or I won't be broke is not a positive reframe, because you're still focusing on something, a won't, or I'm not, right? I am wealthy. I radiate wealth. Understand that I can't go to Colleen's house and say, hey, Google, turn the lights on. Because Google is programmed, her Google Nest is programmed to her voice. If I said, hey, Siri, right now, my phone it just did it. They both just came on because it's programmed to my voice. And Alexa, hey, Alexa, you can't go and say, turn the lights on. You have to say, hey, Alexa. When we say, hey, Google, when we say, hey, Alexa, when we say, hey, Siri, it opens up reception, and that nest is ready to do whatever it is you say you need it to do. And so just the way that, hey, Google, hey, Alexa, hey, Siri, opens up the reception, there are 2 words that do that for our capacity. And those 2 words are, I am. The same effect of, hey, Google, hey, Siri, hey, Alexa, those 2 words, I am, it opens up the receptors of your brain, and your brain is ready to move forward, empowered, what it is you are declaring you can do. I am.
Good.
Enough. I am the answer. I am a CEO chick. I am a 7-figure earner. I am. Write your affirmations, ladies.
Come on, Shelly. Write it, speak it, pray it, live it, be it, do it.
Come on.
That's alignment right there. All right, listen, this is so good, but I got one more question. You doing all of that, but you ain't feeling it. Talk to that. I'm praying it. I'm saying it. I'm doing it to the best of my ability, but I ain't feeling it. Talk to that person.
Feelings are emotions, and emotions are turbulent. So if you are waiting for a feeling to move forward on something, then you're always going to be turbulent, right? Because emotions, they come, they go, they rise, they fall, they're reactive, they're responsive. And so what you should focus more on is doing the thing and doing it with consistency. And when you do it with consistency over time, it impacts how you feel.
Somebody type in the chat, feelings will fool me. Child, please, them feelings will fool you.
Feelings are not facts. Feelings are not facts. And you have to remind yourself of that. You may feel disrespected right now, but that doesn't mean that you're being disrespected. Someone's just letting you know how they feel about you, and they are being assertive. And you are not comfortable with the truth because you prefer a lie. And so in that moment, you feel attacked, but you're not being attacked. You're being held accountable. Feelings are not facts. Get curious enough for you to start questioning how you feel. I don't feel like doing it right now. I don't feel ready, but I'm going to do it anyway, because feelings are not facts. Feelings, remember, they are charged by thoughts. If you want to change how you feel, you have to be able to identify the thinking that fuels that emotion. But remember that feelings are not facts. Stop waiting to feel something. You're waiting to feel ready. You've been waiting to feel ready for like 5 years.
Come on. We break that now. We break that thing right now. Every woman underneath the sound of my voice, we come against complacency. We come against that doubt. We come against that fear. We come against it. We break it up now. We cast it to the pits in the mighty name of Jesus. You will be bold in this hour. Come on, you will experience God to new depths and new levels like you never have in this season. From this day forward, you are moving in victory. You are moving in power. You are moving in boldness. You are moving because you have repented and renewed your mind. You are going to allow only the word to come out of your lips. You're going to affirm yourself day in and day out. You're going to stand flat-footed in front of the mirror and say and speak just how wonderful you are, how fearfully and wonderfully made you are, how anointed you are, how beautiful you are. Listen, you're going to love even the rolls, every lump, every bump. Listen, you're going to love it all. The texture of your hair, the shape of your nose. Listen, you're going to fall in love with who God created you to be. Matter of fact, I'm reframing that. You are in love with who God made you to be. Every gift, every talent, listen, every strength, every weakness, He assigned it to you. He gave it to you and said, my grace is sufficient for you. He said, where you are weak, baby, that's where my strength is made perfect. So even there, you still win, because in Christ, you can never fail. In Him, you will never fail. You will never fail. Listen to me. You will never fail. Even when the outcomes don't seem favorable. The wisdom that you gained, the insight that you learned, don't throw it all away. God says, now apply it to this thing. Then someone comes along in need for that wisdom that you just gained from your situation. And it perfects the product. It perfects the service. It perfects it. Stop throwing it all away. You're not starting from scratch. That's a lie. It's the wisdom that you have gained and accrued. Listen, from the divorce, from the separation, what did you extract from that? What did you learn? From the bankruptcy, what did you extract? What did you learn? From the wins, what did you learn? From the broken relationships, what did you learn? We get bitter? No, we get better. We get better. We know better, so now we're doing better. And that's it. That's who you are. So we call in those contracts. We call in those signed contracts. We call in those deals. We call in the 6+ figure contracts. We call in the 7+ figure contracts. We call it in. We thank you for the divine connections. We thank you, Lord, because our emotional intelligence has increased, Father. Now we can begin to stand boldly and be confident in who you called us to be. So we can sit on stages and on platforms with the who's who and stand our ground because of who we are in you. We dare not cast away our confidence, for it has a great recompense of reward. We thank you for that reward coming forward in this season and in this hour. I thank you for the mighty visionaries that are on this call. We thank you, Jesus, that you're doing great and mighty things in their life in this season and in this hour. It's yes and it's amen. Everything else, listen, you got to have a strong yes and a strong no. Okay, what aligns with who God is calling you to, what aligns with the areas that, you know, the giftings that are within you, it's a yes. It's a yes. If it ain't sin, I'm in. Listen, it's so much we can do. There's so many things places we can go. Our light shines better in darkness. So, Father, we just stand flat-footed in who you called us to be. I know I go from affirmation to decree to prayer because it's all in the same vein. God is doing a thing on this call. He told me to leak it. I've never done that. He told me to leak the call today. Give the link out. Okay, I'm just going to be obedient. You're supposed to be here. You're supposed to hear this. You need this. We can't just overly spiritualize everything. It's not warfare. It's a lack of discipline. Your soul has to be able to receive and conceive what God has given your spirit. The spirit is flawless. The spirit is your direct connection to heaven. The spirit is your direct connection to heavenly things and authority and to everything that we have right here in this scripture. The spirit is without flaw. The soul, the condition of our soul, how we perceive things to be, determines what we're able to receive from the spirit realm. So you got to be able to receive. And you got to be able to work on that condition of your soul to go where God has called you to go. His word never fails, doesn't come back void. And I can keep going, but I got to go. But it makes me think about Abraham's wife. He promised Abraham, he said, Sarah, you're going by this time next year, you will conceive, you will be with child. She laughed. Hagar got pregnant instead. The word came forward. A baby was conceived, but it missed her womb because of her disbelief. Her soul could not fathom that at my old age, I would have a child. But it could happen to my handmaiden. So God said, baby indeed, because my word never fails. Who is taking your word? Who is birthing your promise? Because you laugh. Oh, it can't be me. Forbes? Nah, that can't be me. Happily married and business thriving? No, one gotta fail. They can't all win. Who? Your mentee surpassed you, believed everything, every word you spoke. Mentees, they got it, they running with it. But you doubting. You better stop laughing at God. You better receive where he's showing you, what he's telling you, receive it in Jesus' name. Amen. I gotta go. I'll see all the new members that joined. Y'all welcome. We love you. We'll see you in the next class. Shelly, I love you like cook food. You see, gal? That was so good. That was good to my soul. Listen, you got to keep people around you that just make you want to slap a bear, baby. My God. Okay? So I love y'all. Love you, girl. Be great. See you next time.